Welcome to Soul Sync.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Soul Sync.
Hey everyone. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Therapy Day.
Oh, the best day. I just can't stress that enough.
For real, it's like who needs a therapist when you have just an amazing spiritual best friend?
Period. And spirit.
Spirit, yes, and spirit. They're the fucking best.
Sammy, what are we talking about today, girl?
Okay, guys, we are getting a little deep, but we're going to have such a good reason why. So, we're talking about privacy being a privilege, being a motherfucking privilege. Taylor, what are you doing?
I literally was like, oh, this is so cute. And then I realized that they're just like,
I can't breathe. I don't know why that was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
privacy is a motherfucking privilege, people.
Well, obviously, we're starting this episode with y'all laughing your way to F because Taylor is fucking hilarious. If you guys want to see what happened, go watch it on the fucking YouTube, okay? Because she just went boop, and it was just so funny.
I thought I was onto something, but clearly I was not. Have y'all ever seen Freaky Friday? You remember when that part when Anna was like got in trouble or whatever, and then her mom came out and ripped her door off like the hinges, like she didn't have a door anymore. And she's like, privacy is a privilege, Anna. That's what we're talking about today.
Are, and we're talking about it a little bit more from like an energetic standpoint. So this kind of came to fruition because yesterday I shared, and you guys are probably going to listen to this like in another 2 weeks. So just go check out my fucking Instagram. But I shared a really deep and vulnerable truth with you guys. And if you've listened to the podcast, I feel like you guys are going to know exactly when I was like going through what, and you really will see my evolution. So definitely like go back to like April and then come back to now, and you'll fucking get it and you'll get a lot of value from it. But essentially, I've talked about it multiple times, but over the winter, I was just having such a tough time. Like, I had gained like 15 pounds from binge eating, and I just felt like I was so miserable when it came to like multiple points in my life, which was really weird because when I moved to Charleston, I thought I was like, this is my big break. Like, I'm finally leaving my hometown. Like, this is going to be the best energy ever. And then a lot of healing and a lot of fucking shadows came up. Like, probably all of them. Finally being away from my family, being away from the only home like I ever knew. I lived in Connecticut my entire life, only left for 2 months for college. It was literally everything I knew, the environment, the people. So when I moved, I had become very hermit and I started acting in ways that I saw growing up. So I was becoming very judgmental and very nitpicky and very like OCD of like, well, the dishes have to be done and like causing fights over like the absolute dumbest things. And I was just like really feeling lost back in like January, February when it came to my fitness journey. Like I remember in Bali, I went to Michaela's retreat and I saw the photos of myself and I was just like, ew. Like I felt like I was taking a step back, especially you lose 60 pounds, which is a major amount of weight, and then you put on 15 pounds. Like it's fucking scary. Like I was like in this position of like, am I letting myself go? Like, what is happening? Like, what am I doing to myself? Because it was all self-inflicted. And that was what my post was really about, taking self fucking responsibility and being radically just honest with yourself. And I went to a retreat in April. And I got the download at both retreats that I did not love myself enough. And my partner, who I loved more than myself and like more than anyone I've ever loved my whole life, that we really needed to grow. And as much as we loved each other, like that next chapter needed to be separate. Like I want to kind of like walk you guys through where I was at. Like I was seeing all of these things and I didn't have a coach. and I didn't have anyone helping me, and I had no idea what the fuck was like going on within my spiritual journey. Like I felt so lost and so afraid. And then when it came to my relationship, like I was acting like what I saw growing up when I made a declaration to myself that I would never become that and that I would be the generational change. But here I find myself being passive aggressive and not communicating and closing up like I had done in past relationships, both in friendships and with my romantic partners. And I was like, I'm not being the person that I want to be. And I knew the only way that I could ever find out why was if I was alone. Like for the first time in my life, in my own energy, in my own space. What do I like to do? How do I like to feel supported when I'm upset? Like Tom was the most amazing person ever. Like I really want to say that. Like he still is. He's still like, oh my gosh, has my entire heart. But it was like he would ask me my opinion. I'd be like, oh, whatever you want. I don't know. Like, it's okay. Like, I felt like I was putting so much energy into the business. I didn't have energy for anything else. And that was like a major disconnect, too. And I had asked him one day, I was like, I really think that, like, it is in our relationship's best interest if we take some time apart right now. Like, I love you. I'm loyal to you. Like, you are the person I want to be with. However, like, I don't want to be this person. And he agreed. So we did not tell anyone. Really? Like, we did not. We told our very close friends. Our family didn't even know because we weren't really sure what the future had in store. Like, after we made this decision, he got an amazing job opportunity. So that's where he went. And I had to make a decision. I was like, well, what the fuck do I do now? Like, we were going to move to Austin. He was like, go to Austin, Sammy. He was like, you've been wanting to go there since I met you. He was like, go to Austin, like bring the pets. And like, the whole idea was that eventually like he was gonna come here. And right now, it's just like we both don't really know what the future has in store for us. Like, we know how much love is within our relationship and how much we support, value, and respect each other. But it had been 7 months, and I got a download yesterday at the gym that was just like, I want to go into 2025 being the most authentic version of myself. And I've put in so much work. Like, Taylor probably is the only person that truly, truly knows like just how much work I've put in because I kept it so small. Like only my core soul sister, like only they knew the deepest, the darkest, the rawest part of this process. Like everyone else knew fucking nothing. And there was something so powerful, so peaceful, and so beautiful about that. And I really just have gotten to the point where we've both healed a lot. And Tom had always said if I ever wanted to share about my story, he fully supports me. He fully supports my business. And he knows that all of it is coming from just such a place of like, I want to inspire and I want to teach. And at the end of the day, I'm really proud of the person that I've became within this past 7 months. Like I really went from like rock bottom part two, literally breaking my own heart, losing my entire world, moving across the country, like cutting off people that I thought I would never cut off, but like they just were not aligned for me, and really calling in those like soul connections, trying new things, learning so much about myself. Like my spirit guides were just like, Sammy, this is the time. Like, you need to talk about this. And I'm at a position where I feel comfortable talking about it. Like, I didn't cry. I'm very proud of myself.
You did fantastic. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you. But we really want to talk about today, like how beautiful of an experience keeping that to myself for over half of a year, like the entire process. Obviously, Tom and I have seen each other. We have talked. Like I said, we fully, ooh, spirit high with the little ding. But we fully like support each other and we're supporting each other as we know how in our relationship right now. And we're both really okay with that stage. And I think that's such, again, another powerful thing about relationships is that you got to honor where you're at, right? Like you got to support each other the way that you guys need. And right now, like we've become two completely like different up-leveled human beings, really relying and learning so much about ourselves, which is something like I think everybody needs on their adult and spiritual journey. Like you need to have this time. And I just really want to talk about the benefits of that because I think it would kind of go either other way. It would be like, you know what? We're just going to cut this shit off. It's going to be a really bad breakup. And like, this is what it's going to be, whatever. Or you continue to try and try and try, and you continue to put the other person over yourself. You continue to lose yourself. And then you just end up fucking miserable and literally probably ending it anyway, but in a more destructive way rather than like a way full of such peace and love and like you know what we're just gonna like leave this here right where it's at and like we'll come back to it like the universe got us, we're fine, like it's just two very 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 different energies.
I fucking totally agree. And first of all, I want to say how honored I am that you trusted me with all this too. Like, I know we're best friends, but like, you could be selective with whoever you tell whatever to, and especially something that you don't want people like just throwing their opinions on and kind of like getting in your mind in that way and like getting to you. Cause I'm the exact same way with those things. Like, I'll be very selective with what I tell, with who I tell what to. Does that make sense? Yeah.
100%.
Who I tell what to. Um, for that exact reason. It's like, and not everyone deserves to know every part of everything about you. And I don't know if that's like being closed off or just having that life experience of knowing that not everyone has the best, like your best interests at heart at all times. And everyone is projecting from their own experiences. So it's like, whose opinion are you really going to trust? You're really going to listen to, and you're really going to apply to your life, and that it's going to be, beneficial for you. Because you can go up to any random person and tell them your whole life story and this and this and ask for advice, and they could give you the shittiest advice ever or something that's just like so not at all what you needed to hear, or maybe like made you spiral even more, or like just get in your own head. And it could have been like the purest intentions from them, but it was just their life experiences are not your life experiences. So I think it's really important to confide in people that you just like wholeheartedly trust to your core and just know their intentions inside and out. And for me, that's Sammy too. It's just like, I know that she's just nothing but a pure fucking heart. So it's like everything and the life experiences of the people kind of do like play a role too, like if Sammy's been in a similar relationship or a similar period of time in her life that like something I'm going through, like I absolutely would reach out and be like, girl. I always think of fitness too. I'm like, I'm like in and out. I'm yo-yoing the fitness. And she's like, girl, I've been there. I know. Like those are, it's kind of like a know your audience type of thing too. And trust is huge. Like listen to your gut feeling about these things and these people. Like if it doesn't feel right coming out of your mouth and you're kind of questioning, like, do I say this? Do I not? Like maybe keep it to yourself.
100%. Dude, and I totally get that too, because it really was like an energy thing. I wanted to have my own opinion on it. I wanted to know my own feelings about it and go, like, one of the things I put in my reel was I was like, I've asked myself some of the hardest questions I've ever asked myself. Like, no joke. It was like the past 7 months have been me with me because one of the reasons that like kind of led to me feeling so lost was I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was going to everyone and their fucking mother talking about my problems in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it wasn't the same topic, maybe it wasn't about the same thing, but I was being way too open. And then I was getting way too many people's opinions on it, and way too many people were putting their projections onto me, where like there was a situation where I was so upset about advice that I had gotten from somebody close to me. And my coach, I saw her an hour later and she goes, Sammy, I see this completely fucking differently. She goes, that was a projection from that person. She's like, what I see is this. And that resonated with me so much. And I remember Taylor told me that same quote she just told you guys of like, not everybody needs to know everything about your situation. So, like, for example, some people that were close to me at the time would ask, oh, do you mind if I ask about like you and Tom? Like, how is that going? Where are you at? And respectfully, I said, yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that right now. Simple as that. I was not comfortable talking about it. I would not talk about it. And then with the people that I was close to, like Taylor, that's when all of my like crying and processing and really just me taking time to look at myself and my actions and how I let other people's energy affect me. And like I said, just taking fucking radical responsibility. And I think that's something really for you guys to think about is the energetic side of things because I was taking on people's emotions, feelings, perspectives that had nothing to do with me. And it had nothing to do with what I was going on at the time or what I was dealing with. But let me tell you, it definitely added to my anxiety. It definitely added to my negative thoughts. Right? Even if it was good news. Like I remember at the time, like I told somebody something about like how much money that I had made, and then they literally compared it to themselves. And I was just like, okay, well, that makes me feel great. Thanks, like for the support. So even good news, you still can get a reaction that energetically affects you if you allow it and if you don't have any boundaries. So now I definitely have more boundaries, especially like energetically wise, where every single day I put up like an armor of light, an armor of God, and I'm just like, I'm protected. And any single thought, opinion, perspective, anything that's not for me from other people, it's transmuted into good, right? So it's like I also have those shields up now where I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna let anyone affect me like I was letting them affect me. No, my privacy is a fucking privilege, and I'm gonna keep that shit and my energy to myself.
Period. I fucking love it. Oh, I totally agree. It's a privacy boundary. Like that, like what are your privacy boundaries with things? Or are you just going around telling people everything about you and like all your good news, all your bad news? But you're
Yeah.
so true. Like even the good news is something to consider too, because you know that feeling when you're just so excited about something and you tell someone this good news and then they just come back with like something so out of pocket or something that just makes you feel like this small and you're like, okay, well shit, I literally just felt my energy go from here to like all the way down here just because of some comment or something that you said back. And it's like, no, you just gotta bask in your own shit sometimes. And like, if you don't need, any validation from anyone, like, which you shouldn't, but like, then you don't need to be like boasting certain things. But
Yeah.
to certain people, like, I totally understand the people in your corner, that are on the journey with you, they're going to want to hear. They're going to be so excited to hear about this. They're going to be like, fuck yeah, girl, keep going. They're going to be your motivation. Like, those are the people that you want to open up and you want to be selective with. Who's in your corner? Who are you telling your good news to, your bad news to? And then you fully expect and just know that they're going to reciprocate the same energy that you're throwing back to them. Like it's not going to be anything that's like getting you out of your comfort zone, anything that's like overwhelming to you. Cause like you said, when all these different people are coming at you with their opinions, your mind can just get clouded so fast and so easily of like, oh shit, like there's another perspective. There's a different perspective. Like there's something I didn't consider. And then your own intuition and your own gut instincts kind of gets lost in that. I feel like it makes it harder to sort through like what is coming from like your ego side and what is coming from your higher self. So it's kind of like an extra step of you having to like sift through all these other people's opinions, all these other people's energies. How can we really make sure that we set up that privacy boundary? And people usually learn this the hard way. You know what I mean? Is what I'm trying to say. So, like, you'll tell everyone all this stuff, and then it will kind of come back and bite you in the butt. And you're like, well, if I just shut the fuck up.
I
For
didn't
lack of.
realize, like I was doing it. Like I think that's the thing too, is you're right. It bites you in the butt because you don't realize you were doing it until you realize and you were like, oh.
Yeah. It's like too late. And then you're like, oh shit. And then everyone's asking you like, so how is the whatever the fuck that you're doing? How is that going? I'm like, oh yeah, it's great. I quit like 3 months ago. Or you know what I mean? I'm like, why do I say shit? Like I'm a new person every day. Like, I don't know.
I fucking love that perspective. I'm a new person every single day. And I think too, like when it comes to having this kind of boundary of who you're talking to, like talk to people who are in the position you want to be in. So, like, for example, for me during my hardest times, I just mentioned my coach, Michaela. She's in a very happy marriage right now with like a relationship that I want. So it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to her and she's gonna give me the advice that works because she's in the position that I really want to be in, or I would go to Taylor because I'm like, okay, like you're my best friend. You know me so well. But again, she's also in a relationship that I would want it to look like. She's showing up and she's communicating in a way that I was fucking failing to because I wasn't even communicating. My throat chakra was closed and it was like, bitch, you can't speak. And like, no. So I've worked so hard on my communication these last 7 months. And I think one of the biggest things I learned about it is that it's a fucking privilege to communicate about things that mean the most to you. So for me, I worked on this shit every single day. Like, if you guys go back to the podcast, like I said, and you listen through, you're going to hear the tears in my voice. You're going to hear the forgiveness letters that I wrote. You're going to hear all of the rituals that I did. You're going to hear all of the fucking pain that I was in that the world did not know about. Nobody knew about because I didn't tell them. And I felt good not telling them. Like it just gave me so much space to heal and sort through it for my best and highest good to do it this way, especially when like the future is still being written. So of course, I'm gonna be so just like protective in my own little bubble while I continue to manifest what the fuck I want, right? Like you got to put your desires first.
That's so true. You got to put your own energy first.
Hmm.
Gotta just like, I don't know, keep a clear eye and a clear vision on certain things. And I feel like putting like everything out there just invites a lot of negative energy, maybe from people or people that disagree. I mean, you can see like social media wise and stuff like that, like politics and everything, like everyone's putting their opinion, unsolicited opinions out there into the world. And it's kind of like you have to consider what type of energy it's attracting
Yes.
and what type of people are engaging in it. And I don't know, it's something that I never really had to consider before until something happens. Again, it's kind of like a reality check this day and age. Because back in the day, like there was no social media. It was hard to kind of like for everyone to know everything about yourself and about each other. So it was like easier to keep things private and you didn't really need a lot of boundaries in that way. But I remember there was something with my cousin that she would be posting a lot of political beliefs and a lot of very controversial things online. And she would just keep attracting like all of these people that were like against her and against that view and not like this. And she would just be constantly bombarded with all these people messaging her on social media every single day, all this crazy energy from all over the place, like literally all over the world. And she would just like feed into it and she would be like, answering back and fighting with all these people. And it kind of came to a point where it got to her so much, like her psyche, where she was just kind of like so overwhelmed with just like the weight of the world and the weight of everyone's opinions and everything. And I was just like, girl, like, I understand what you're doing. Like, I 100% do, but there's a level of like keeping yourself safe in a way. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like you said, like that bubble you're putting on yourself, like keeping that on still and just, I don't know, just being cautious of that because it is like the most priceless currency if you think about it. Like your energy is like everything.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it really goes to show how important privacy is and it's something, I don't know, we all just need a refresher on in our lives, I think, of like what's going on. What can be just for you, or maybe just for you and your partner, or maybe just for you and your best friends, or you and your family, that doesn't need to involve the energies of outside people that don't even know you or why you're doing the things you do.
100%, especially with that like partner and friendships and relationships, because at the end of the day, only you two know how beautiful and special it is. Or like if you're in a toxic relationship, which I've been in the past, only we know the depth of how toxic it truly is. And kind of like Taylor said, it's something you learn over time. But I think what's really important here too is what is your intention with the things that you're doing? Because when I was sharing, my intention was to fucking complain and be told that I was right, which is a very egotistical thing. However, when I shared this post, I remember I was talking to one of my friends. She had just sent me a meditation, and I was like, girl, it's so crazy you sent me that because I just wrote this post. And she was like, no, like keep it to you, protect that shit. It is so special. And I was like, I agree. And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe this is just for me then. Like, and I was like, do you mind if I just send it to you? Because I'm really proud of what I said and I'm proud of how far I came. And then next thing you know, she's like, okay, Sammy, you got to do this. Post how you were before, post when you gained the weight, then go ahead and post where you're at now, like show everything you've learned. And then my intuition like just started naturally making the post and it was like, girl, fucking do it. And that was just from such a like, I love myself. I'm so proud of myself. I can take self responsibility of like where I fucked up. And especially as coaches, I feel like this is so important because yeah, the whole time I taught Lotus Babes, okay? The whole time I was coaching, I took one coaching call off, and that was the week that it fucking happened. Like, I showed up here and through everything, but they got to see that side of me and they got the rawness, and I was authentic and honest with them the entire fucking time. Right? So that's something I'm really, really proud of. And I'm able to be honest about things that I want to work on. And that helps other people see what they want to work on too. But it also just really goes to prove that somebody can look like they have their shit together and they're living this best life and they're going through something that's probably, and this was at least for me, one of the hardest experiences of my life, you know? So it's just like, wow. Wow. It's just insane. It's insane. And also just like everything is always going to align in divine timing and you have to trust that. So for me, that meant protecting and just like having my own space until I felt called to share. And I think that's a really important thing we need to think about. Like, where is my intention in what I'm sharing and why I'm being so public? And what is the intention I actually want to be in? What is the energy I actually want to be in? Because I figured that out, but it did take me over 6 months. So, you know, you're working on it.
Time is a construct, you know?
It's a fucking illusion.
It is. Oh my God. And that's a whole nother separate podcast episode, I think, which actually would be fun to record. But time's a fucking illusion. And I completely agree. And Sammy is like that side of it where it's like your intentions behind it are authenticity. It's not seeking validation, it's not seeking opinions, it's not seeking arguments or controversial conversations or like anything like that. It's just purely being authentic and raw and you. And there's like so much power to that. And there's so much influencing of other people and changing the world that you can do with that. So it really is all the intention behind it. And what your voice is such a gift that you're giving to other people. You know what I mean? It's like that's what you're offering too, is like the voice of like, this is my experience, this is my story, and it's mine. And it's like no one would know this and no one would, feel what I've been feeling without me sharing it to the world. Because odds are, and I mean, we know this for a fact, there are a ton of other people out there that are feeling the same thing and they don't feel alone anymore. And I mean, for me at least, like that's been one of the most important things in any healing journey that I've been through is like not feeling like you're the only one experiencing this or like hearing people's stories that have been so similar and like what they did to get through it and the light at the end of their tunnel, you know? So it's just, there's a part of it that's just really important with just connecting people and the connection between like we're all one, like we're all the same unit at the end of the day, and we all have the answers within us, so maybe we don't even need to be searching or asking people their opinions in the first place.
Mm.
Because if you ask yourself, if you sit down in meditation one day, if you take out your journal, if you're just like talking to spirit or talking to your angels, your guardian angels, Reiki masters, like whatever, like you'll hear answers. You will come up with answers. You'll start journaling things out that you haven't even considered yet. Like we're very fucking magical, I gotta say. Spiritual beings. And it's really just like something you can tap into at any point in time. So definitely don't forget that that's an option, because I feel like it's lost on a lot of people these days, especially if they're not as spiritual or they don't have like the same type of spiritual evolution and upbringing that we have. Like we're very fortunate to have. Also, it's just a learning experience, you know?
Mhm.
So that's why we're here to give you a shortcut, people. We're like, we've done this the hard way. We've learned all this the hard way. I can think of a time when I was dating one of my exes, and he was someone, you know, you think you should trust. Like he's your boyfriend, like he's someone so close to you. And like confiding in him about like just like personal things. And then when we broke up, you know, he exploited it to like everyone. And it was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, so you got to be really careful with certain things. Sometimes even when there are people that you think, but again, that's not you, that's them. So if you believe in karma,
I was just thinking that. I was like, he's gonna and karma for that. You know,
yeah,
you want to make sure that you're only talking good about people. Like, don't go ahead and like say all of the bad, because let me tell you, like when you do that, you get bad back to you. So like that guy, I don't want to look at him. Like, hopefully praying for him that hopefully it was okay. Because like, especially with something that means so much to you, and then he just goes and tells everybody about it, like karma, that thing could happen to him or worse. You really never know. The universe is in charge of that. Okay, so I want your guys' homework to be this weekend. Evaluate the people in your life and evaluate what you're telling who to and how it is making you feel. This was something that really, really helped me out. I thought about the closest 5 people in my life, including friends, family, coaches, anyone that I knew I 100% felt comfortable. And then I thought about some other people who I was like, who do I feel like my energy feels drained after talking to them? Who do I leave the phone conversation feeling worse than when I got on the phone with them? You know, pay attention and kind of like evaluate what your conversations have been, who you've been telling what to, how has that been making you feel? And then go ahead and I want you guys to make a declaration that these are your core 3 to 5 people, and those are the only people that you tell whatever it is that you want to tell them, right? Because that's exactly what I did. I was like, okay, I'm only going to talk about this situation with my top 3 to 5 people who are in the position that I want to be in, who is able to put their fucking energy and their opinions, their perspective and experiences aside. And every time they came to me, they would say, okay, Sammy, so for your situation with how you're feeling, with what is going on, here are just my thoughts. And it was just so respectful. And it was definitely in my best interest. And it always resonated so much with me and lifted me up. And I want you to just only be going to them. And everybody else, I already told you guys how you can respectfully be like, you know what? I don't really feel like talking about that right now. And that is okay. And I want you guys to start just having these boundaries around yourself and your energy. And, you know, you have to be aware in the first place in order to do that. And kind of like Taylor and I said, let's make you guys aware before it bites you in the butt.
yes. We're being proactive today.
Yes.
I love that. That's the perfect homework. I think I'm gonna do that homework myself.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. Okay, people. So You got some goodies today. I think definitely implement that and just see how things change for you. As always, you know where to find us. Where could they find you, Sammy?
You guys can find me on all platforms. My first and last name, SAMIRUESS. And y'all know Instagram, TikTok, got that underscore.
I love how I hear this in my head, like as you say it, like the same flow. Ruess. Oh wait, SAMIRUESS. And you know there's an underscore.
Hopefully, y'all guys, memorize it too, and then you go follow me. We could be friends.
Period. Exactly. Like get it stuck in your head and then just like, pop it into your phone.
All right.
And you can follow me on melt underscore ebb and flow NJ on Instagram. The main account, which is ebb and flow NJ on Instagram and on TikTok. So go follow us. And then also the Soul Sync SB account. Hello. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram.
Fuck yeah.
Ask us. Does any of this ring a bell?
Guys.
So follow away, ask us some shit, tag a couple people on who you could trust with anything and who you can
Yeah.
trust their opinions on. Who's in
Mhm.
your corner? Go ahead
I
and tag them.
I love that. Send it to them and be like, bitch, I'm grateful for you. Like, you guys don't know how many times I've done that to Taylor where I've seen a reel or I've heard a podcast. I'm like, oh my God, they said this. Thank you so much. It made me think of you. And that's just again with like the good karma.
Mhm.
Give love, and then you're gonna receive that love just back.
Yes. Oh my God. So until next time, everyone, we love you.
Love you. Bye.